Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear students, here we are again with lesson number 2 in linguistics. Of course, continuing with unit 1, modern linguistics, European structuralism. We'll tackle with structuralism, a linguistics theory, of course, starting with Geneva School of Linguistics. Emergence of European structuralism, it started with Geneva. Of course, here we talk about Ferdinand de Saussure, who was normally the father of structuralism. Of course, this is an approach to linguistics which treats language as an interwoven structure. Interwoven, it means interrelated. And it was emerged in the 20th century, of course, due to his works that were published by his students under the title Les Cours de Linguistique Générale. So, this was the first start of the European structuralism in linguistics. Ferdinand de Saussure, this is the photo of Ferdinand de Saussure. Ferdinand de Saussure was born on the 26th November 1857 at Geneva, Switzerland, from a French Protestant family who immigrated from Lorraine in France due to the wars by the end of the 16th century. But he was not born at that time, later on, of course. Normally he is originated from. And he was, of course, famous of being a historical linguist. Okay, many linguists also appeared and used his ideas as the approach to linguistics, like Leonard Bloomfield, Charles Francis Hack, André Martinet, Edward Sapir, and many other linguists and scholars in language studies. De Saussure's definition of language, normally according to De Saussure, language is a system. In which all the elements fit together. So every element in the language is dependent to another element, and the value of each element is not complete unless there is the other element. So all the elements coexist and normally present and convey certain meaning. So the subject has no meaning without the verb, and the verb without the object has no meaning, and the noun needs an adjective, and the adverb needs the adjective needs an adverb, and the verb needs an adverb. So they are interrelated. Okay. De Saussure normally has set a group of characteristics related to the language. According to him, language is well-defined object, so it is normally limited. It has a certain fixed normally grammar, vocabulary, spelling, etc. All of these things are stable, not like the speech. The speech normally it differs, okay, from one person to another. According to him, language is something that can be studied separately, so no need to turn back to compare between languages, which was normally the approach used in other and the previous normally trend of linguistics concerning historical and comparative linguistics approach. So it totally changes. Also, he said that the speech and the language, they differ. Language is homogeneous while speech is heterogeneous. So it means that here speech and language are not the same. Language is fixed, yet the speech can differ from one person to another, from one society to another. But the language is stable. It is a system of signs. The only essential thing is that there is a union of meaning. Okay. And sound image. Here we talk about the written form. Language, according to him, is concrete. It has a written its written form, its written symbols. And it is not like the case of speaking. It is not easy to study. So the language is easy to study. Okay, language, because it is written. It has its written symbols. Yet the spoken cannot be recorded. It's not recorded. And of course, the main noticeable normally concepts related to de Saussure's approach is the dichotomies. Okay, the dichotomies of de Saussure normally we have 5 main dichotomies, talking about the sign, signifier, and the signified. The sign, the signifier, and the signifier, normally we talk about the mainly so the sign, normally it is the relationship between this and this. Okay, the relationship between the signifier and the signified. And the signifier, normally, for example, I have the word book. Okay, book, normally it has an image. This is a book. This is a concept which is in the mind. When I tell you a book, you have it's signified in your mind, memorized, or you can see it in front of you. Okay, and here the book, the word written or spoken, it is a signifier. Okay, so and normally the sign is anything that conveys meaning, and the signifier is things that give meaning, and the signified what is evoked in the mind or the mental concepts. The second dichotomy is this normally difference between langage, langue, and parole, and they kept them as they are in French language. So langage, it is what? Langage, it is normally language in general. It is language in general. Okay, it is language in general. The most abstract concept of means of communication using verbal signs both in written and in spoken. This concept does not refer to any particular languages in the world, the ideal form of language, and it is a human possession. Yet langue, according to him, it is a particular language. Okay, so langage, according to him, it is normally the competence. It is what? It is the competence. Langue, so it is a particular language, the system of a language, that is the arrangements of sound and words which speakers of a language have a shared language of or agree to use, referring to any particular languages. For example, I say English language, French language. Okay, so langue, its equivalent is a language, French language. Okay, language, its equivalent is langue. Langage is a competence. Okay, it is mainly competence. Okay, langue is language in English. Okay, parole, it is normally the production of the language of an individual, and this is called the performance. It is the performance of the language. So the performance of the language, it is the actual use of language by people in speech or writing. The language of an individual. Example, I can say your English or your language is perfect, is excellent. His language is very poor, and so on. So performance, langue is language, and langage is the competence. The third dichotomy set by de Saussure is the synchronic linguistics and diachronic linguistics. Synchronic linguistics, here we talk about normally a point in time. A point in time. So I may study, for example, English at a certain point in time. For example, I tackle with English spoken, for example, during the World War I. This is a point in time. And if I'm going to talk about, for example, the English language developments from for example 449 till today, and this is a long period of time, here I'm going to tackle with the historical developments of this language, and this is normally mainly historical linguistics. Okay. And synchronic, normally it is the way he is tackling with the language at the moment. De Saussure's approach concerning his dichotomies, the fourth one, descriptive grammar and prescriptive grammar. And I can say descriptivism or descriptivist approach, or prescriptivism or prescriptive approach. Descriptive grammar, it is the systematic study and description of language. And descriptive grammar, it refers to the structure of a language as it is actually used by speakers and writers as it is, without adding anything. Prescriptive grammar, it gives a set of rules and examples dealing with the syntax and with structure of a language, usually intended as an aid to the learning of that language. Prescriptive grammar refers to the structure of a language as certain people think it should be used. For example, I give you an example. Descriptive grammar, I may describe the difference between American and British English. So American and English and British English, I tell you how the English the British use English, and how the Americans use English. I may describe for you the English spoken in the southern parts of America, or in the northern parts of America, USA. Prescriptive grammar, it is normally to tell you what is the rule of, for example, in comparative adjectives, the rules of, for example, of tenses. Normally, when to use this tense, how to use it, what to do, what to add. For example, I add es after certain verbs, and I add s after certain verbs, etc., etc. In the past, what to do, etc. This is normally prescriptive grammar. This is the grammar that you are being taught. Okay. The fifth dichotomy by de Saussure is the syntagmatic and the paradigmatic relationship between the words in the sentence. For example, the wolf is a fierce animal. So the relationship between the and wolf, the article and the noun, is with wolf, since it is singular. It is normally I put is, not was, not are or am. A fierce animal, since there is f here, I am going to use a, and since there is a singular noun, so I'm going to use a. So here, this relationship between this and this and this and this is called the syntagmatic relationship. Yet the tiger can replace the word wolf. Here we call it the paradigmatic relationship, and I can put, instead of the wolf, I can put it, I can put another noun, and so this is of the same class of words, the same class of words, and since they are from the same class of words, they can be changed. Okay, so I keep the same sentence, but I change just one word. So this word and this word, the wolf and the tiger, they are replacing each other. They substitute each other. So we can say that there is a paradigmatic relationship between them. That's all about the dichotomies and de Saussure's approach to the study of the language. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you in the next videos.